In 1955, the world was shocked by a tragic event that took place in the skies over the Mediterranean Sea. The Kashmir Princess, a commercial airliner en route from Bombay to Jakarta, was destroyed by a bomb, killing 16 of the 19 people on board. The incident, known as the Kashmir Princess bombing, remains one of the most mysterious and controversial events in aviation history. The Kashmir Princess was a Lockheed L-749 Constellation aircraft operated by Air India. On the night of April 11, 1955, the plane took off from Bombay with a stopover in Karachi before continuing to Jakarta. Among the passengers on board were Chinese diplomats and journalists, as well as Indian and American officials. The explosion was possibly an assassination attempt targeting Chinese Premier Zhou Enlai, who missed the flight either due to a medical emergency or, as one historian concluded, because he had prior knowledge. As the plane flew over the South China Sea near the Natuna Islands, a bomb exploded in the cargo hold, tearing the aircraft apart. The pilot, Captain S.D. Mera, managed to make an emergency landing in the sea near the French Riviera, saving the lives of 3 passengers. The rest of the passengers and crew perished in the crash. The investigation into the bombing revealed a complex web of political intrigue and espionage. The Chinese government accused the Taiwanese government, specifically the Kuomintang, of orchestrating the attack in retaliation for the Chinese government's support of Indonesian independence. The Taiwanese government denied any involvement, but suspicions remained. A little history of the Kuomintang, or KMT. The KMT is the largest center-right to right-wing party in the Pan-Blue Coalition. The KMT was originally based on the Chinese mainland and held power after the collapse of the Qing dynasty until 1949, when they were defeated during the Chinese Civil War. They retreated to Taiwan and ruled as an authoritarian one-party state from 1949 until 1987. Martial law and curtailed civil liberties were in effect as the KMT's anti-communism efforts, known as the White Terror. Communism or authoritarianism? They don't seem all that different to me on a personal freedom level. In 1987, Chiang Ching-kuo lifted martial law and ended the ban on opposition parties, creating the beginning of democracy and freedom in Taiwan. Lee Teng-hui, his successor, continued democratic reforms and was re-elected in 1996. Don't get too excited about this freedom. The guiding ideology of the KMT party is the 3 principles of the people, which sounds rather communistic to me. This is historically organized on a basis of democratic centralism, which sounds okay until you realize it was conceived by Vladimir Lenin. So now we know the KMT is at best only marginally better than the CCP, and neither care about their people's freedom. Power is the important thing to both. The KMT lost power for the first time in 72 years in the 2000 presidential election and regained power from 2008-2016. The KMT lost legislative majority and the presidency in 2016, perhaps delaying Taiwan's fall into communism by a few years. The KMT now favors a closer relationship with the PRC. Moving on, but let me know in the comments if I should delve deeper into the KMT. The true perpetrators of the bombing were never definitively identified. The Chinese government continued to blame the Taiwanese government, while others speculated that the attack may have been carried out by a third party seeking to destabilize the region. The plane was torn into 3 parts upon crashing into the sea. Only 3 of the 19 aboard survived to be rescued by the Indonesian Coast Guard, maintenance engineer, navigator, and first officer. Investigators believe the airplane had a time bomb placed on it by a KMT agent. Some believe that Zhou Enlai may have known of the assassination plot and faked the need for an emergency appendectomy. Nice of him to keep that information to himself, sending his delegation of minions to their deaths. China accused the CIA and KMT of the bombing the day after the crash. The governor of Hong Kong denied the plane being tampered with in Hong Kong, but the Indonesian Board of Inquiry later announced that a time bomb with an American Mk7 detonator was responsible for the explosion and was most likely placed on the plane in Hong Kong. After offering a 100,000 Hong Kong dollar reward and investigating 71 people, the authorities began focusing on a Hong Kong aircraft engineering cumber janitor named Chow Tse-ming. Chow promptly stowed away to Taiwan on a civil air transport aircraft owned by the CIA. Purely coincidence, I'm sure. Taiwan denied extradition of Chow, denied that he was a KMT agent. Another pure coincidence. Chow had 3 aliases, supposedly bragged to people, and spent large amounts of money before departing Hong Kong. Evidence from British, Taiwanese, American, and Hong Kong archives that points directly to KMT agents in Hong Kong as the perpetrators of the aircraft bombing. Supposedly, the KMT had a special operations group stationed in Hong Kong responsible for assassination and sabotage. Designated the Hong Kong Group under Major General Kong Hoi Ping, with a network of 90 agents. In March 1955, the group is reported to have recruited Chow for the assassination because his job at the airport gave him easy access to the Air India plane and offered him 600,000 Hong Kong dollars and refuge in Taiwan, if necessary. There is a Chinese Foreign Ministry document, declassified in 2004, that also indicates the KMT Secret Service was responsible for the bombing. China had accused the United States of involvement in the bombing from the beginning. But while the CIA had considered a plan to assassinate Zhou Enlai at this time, another coincidence. The Church Committee reported that these plans were disapproved of and strongly censured by Washington, and we all know the CIA would never go against Congress. In 1971, Zhou directly asked Henry Kissinger about U.S. involvement in the bombing, to which Kissinger responded, "As I told the Prime Minister the last time, he vastly overestimates the competence of the CIA." However, 4 years prior, an American defector in Moscow, John Disco Smith, claimed that he had delivered a suitcase containing an explosive mechanism to a Chinese nationalist in Hong Kong. But who can trust a defector? The Kashmir Princess bombing remains a haunting reminder of the dangers of political conflict and espionage. The loss of innocent lives in the skies over the Mediterranean Sea serves as a tragic example of the high stakes involved in international relations. In the years following the Kashmir Princess bombing, the incident faded from public memory, overshadowed by other events in the tumultuous history of the Cold War. But for those who remember, the shocking and senseless act of violence that took place on that fateful night in 1955 will never be forgotten. The Kashmir Princess bombing serves as a cautionary tale for future generations, a reminder of the destructive power of political conflict and the importance of diplomacy in resolving international disputes. As the world continues to grapple with the challenges of the 21st century, the lessons of the Kashmir Princess bombing remain as relevant as ever. Please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more fun conspiracy content. What other conspiracy theories would you like to see?